Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about how I was able to manage 3 jobs while being a full-time student in my college, my university. So first of all, I just want to start off by saying that there's definitely some students who have the need to acquire a job while in college. There's other students that are solely focused on their studies, and they don't necessarily get a job, and it's understandable. Every situation is different. For instance, at least in my case, I had to get a job in order to afford going to college, in order to afford my books, in order to afford my everyday expenses. So there's other students who just focus on their studies, and everyone's situation is different. So if you're that person who was like me that needed some financial stability, that needed to get a job while being a full-time student, then this video will definitely be something that can hopefully encourage you to not give up, and just know that there's always light in the end of the tunnel. So in my case, Technically, I have my own catering business. So my mom and we started our catering business back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. We started our catering in Los Angeles. So we went to do caters, like we did tacos and events. We would do tacos in schools and businesses. It was our financial source of income, and I didn't find the need to get a job just because that would be sufficient for us. However, when I started college, when I started in 2019, I was a freshman, and my first semester, I decided to look for a job in my university, just because I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you work in a school, something called work study, technically they put you as a student first, so they understand that you're a student and that you have exams, you have assignments. So if you need time off, if you need to go late to work, it's understandable because they put you as a student first before an employee. So that was a benefit that I saw of working in the school cafeteria. So I decided to apply, and I applied, and my hours were good. You know, I was well-rounded because I had class. Let's say I had class at 8 and it would end at 10. I would start working at 12:30. I would head to the cafeteria. Then as soon as I would get off of my hours at 3, I would head to my other class at 4. So it was manageable. I was able to do it while working in my catering business on Saturdays. So my catering business that usually would only happen on Saturdays, just because events are usually on Saturdays, or it would even sometimes happen on Sundays. So every job to this day that I have, I make sure that I have Saturdays off. So in that job, in my cafeteria, I had the Saturdays at 12 p.m. off. In the morning I would go in, but I would get off at 12 p.m. And so I had enough time to get everything ready if we had a cater. And so that went on for about 2 semesters. So I was able to do that. Eventually, I ended my semester in spring. So summer 2020, I didn't have a job. So if many of you guys know, COVID happened in 2019 towards the end. My school was closed down, and so I wasn't able to work at the cafeteria. And so in the summer, not only did my job end at my school, but also my catering business, because there wasn't an event happening, so we didn't have any financial source of income during the COVID time. So then I decided that in August, if I'm not mistaken, August of 2020, before I started my my third semester at college, I decided to apply for a restaurant. So I applied at this place called the Halal Guys, and I was lucky enough to have been hired. So I told my managers that I was available during this time. So I would say, hey, I'm available Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday after 4:30 because in the morning I have class till 4. So I'm able to, during that 30-minute break, I'm able to come from my school to the job, to do my hours. And so I was lucky enough that my managers understood that, and I was able to work around that. So I would basically work like 3 days during the weekday and then the 2 nights in the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. And I didn't mind doing Saturdays during that time that I started at Halal Guys in August, because the pandemic was still a thing, and not no much, like, I didn't have much events happening for caterers on Saturdays. So I took advantage to get some hours on Saturdays. And since I knew that on the weekday I wasn't able to get the hours that I wanted because of school, I took advantage of the weekends. So eventually I was working the two jobs again, the Halal Guys, and here and there I would get some caterers during my third semester in August of 2020. So I would just get maybe like 3 caterers a month, or and so on. Not as much as I used to before, but I would get a few. And when I would get some caterers, I would let my manager know beforehand that I wasn't going to be able to go in on Saturday because I had a cater. So I was able to manage those two jobs that way, just having communication with my employers, and then definitely just having communication with my teachers. So in that semester it was kind of rough for me because everything was online. And when it's online, it's much harder to just interact with your classmates, much harder to interact with your teacher. So I was having a difficult time just getting adjusted to Zoom. And so luckily in 2021, my spring semester 2021, I started getting more adapted to the whole Zoom thing. But I quickly noticed that I was able to actually manage Zoom very well, to the point where I would manage my assignments through a calendar. So each week I would write down all the assignments that were due, and then I would make sure I wrote the due date and times, and I would write that down for all the classes that I had. So what really helped me was color coding everything. So each class that I had, I would color code it a specific color. So I knew the due dates, the assignments that I needed to get done, in order for me to get those assignments out of the way before I would start work. Or if I knew that on the weekend I had a big final coming out, I would manage my time during the weekday to make sure that I would get my hours of work out of the way, and then as soon as I would get home from work, study. So just managing my time, managing my assignments, the due dates, all in that one calendar definitely helped me, just with my managing just school and work at the same time. So quickly I started noticing how easy it was for me that I decided to apply for another job. So I applied for another job in December of 2020. I applied to Pita Pita, which is another Mediterranean restaurant. And I applied there. And so basically, I would go in the mornings. I would go in the mornings at Pita Pita whenever I didn't have class. And then on the nights, I would go to Halal Guys. So I was able to choose my schedule for spring semester, on not only making sure that the course was available for me to take, but also seeing the availability of the times to see what best worked with me on my work schedule as well. So for instance, I would have a class that we would only meet once a week. And so that would give me leeway to work at Pita Pita in the morning and then Halal Guys in the night. I had another class that was just Tuesdays and Thursdays, and only from 8 a.m. to 10. So in the morning, I would just go in. After my class ended, I would go to Pita Pita. From there, I would go to Halal Guys. I don't know just why I decided to do 3 jobs during my time at my university, but I know that it definitely helped me to save up money. Just so all the necessities that I had for college, any of my expenses, helping for the rent, all that, basically helped me with these 3 jobs that I had. So I was able to do it, just managing my time was the most important thing to understand. I needed to make sure I understood that my time was basically money. So if I was not busy during this, let's say if I wasn't busy from 10 to 12, I would right away start my assignments. I would right away finish up my homework. I would right away study for my exams. If I wasn't, instead of going out to eat, let's say on Friday night, if I had an exam or if I had a final the next day or an assignment, I would stay in to finish that assignment. So it's just very much a lot of discipline is what I learned throughout the time I had these 3 jobs. And it was just having to manage everything, I feel. And as I mentioned before, like in my other video, I definitely had a lot of communication with my teachers, all of them. Like all of them, I made sure they understood, where I was coming from. Like on my first day of class, I would tell the professors that I worked 3 jobs and that I will definitely put me as a student first before my jobs. So I would make sure I have my assignments, everything on time. But I just wanted to relay that to my teachers and just let them know my situation. Just so they know where I'm coming from. And so that definitely helped me. A lot of my teachers related to me. They said, you know what, I had to do that as well when I was in college, so I understand. So just having that communication with your teachers definitely helps. If you're a person who has to work, because you need to maintain your financial stability while being a student, you don't worry because it's not only beneficial for your life or your financial life, but it's also beneficial for yourself, just because you're learning discipline and you're learning responsibility, you're learning to manage your time. And keep in mind that you can add this to your resume. Like in all my resumes, I have that I have time management in one of my skills, because and when they ask me about this, I let them know, you know what, I show my time management skills because I worked 3 jobs while being a full-time student, and I still was able to graduate with a 3.9 GPA. So, showing that you're well-rounded and that you're able to manage a full-time or a part-time job while being a full-time student shows a lot of potential in you. So I encourage you, if you're that person who's giving up because they're working, they don't know if they should continue school, they don't know if they can do this, like just trust me when I say that if you manage your time well and if you discipline yourself, you'll be able to do it. And it's okay if don't be afraid. It's okay if you have to work while being a student. It's fine. There's a lot of people who have to go through that. And trust me, it's not easy. As you know, it's not easy. But just know that if you put yourself to it, you'll be able to succeed and you'll be able to get those A's, get those B's while working. So I highly encourage you, use a calendar. I used the calendar. It helped me a lot. It might not work for you. It might work for you. Use a calendar. You can use your notes, use your phone. There's a lot of apps on the phones now that can help you manage your time, manage your due dates, your assignments. Just try and figure out what works for you and you'll be able to do it, and just don't give up. I want to encourage you, I was able to do it. I did those 3 jobs. I was able to graduate college. Well, I thank you guys for watching today's video. If you guys have any other questions, leave it down in the comments below. And then I will definitely bring back more videos for this college life or student life series. So thank you for watching.